I'm on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Sandra Navidi of BeyondGlobal. Sandra, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure to be here, Dan.
Sandra, can you talk about Germany's position regarding the sanctions against Russia that everybody's talking about?
Ideally, Germany would like to avoid any sanctions because it has very close business ties with Russia. 6,000 German companies do business in Russia, amongst them multinational corporations like Siemens and BASF. And also, Germany is getting 35% of its oil and gas from Russia, and large parts of it come through the Ukraine.
What do you see happening with the 18 Ukrainians' bank accounts or accounts that the EU has frozen?
I think it's a start, it's a good measure, but it's very hard to actually recover those assets. I think we got a head start and that documents were found early that pointed to these people and to funds. But there are legal hurdles. It's very hard. We've seen in the Middle East, the spring, the Middle Eastern spring, it was hard to recover assets, and most of them we haven't recovered, or only a small part. I think the bigger part is what are going to be the economic sanctions. That's going to be pivotal because there is potential of a spiraling out of control of sanctions. It's very atypical that superpowers engage sanctions against each other. Usually that's against rogue nations. If it happens against Syria or so, you can handle it. But if you have as much to lose almost, it could be potentially very dangerous.
How did Ukraine go so broke?
Ukraine has been on a trajectory that wasn't sustainable for a long time. It's not competitive. It doesn't have any goods that that other countries are interested in buying, so it's not competitive. And it's gotten these large energy subsidies, and so it needs to change its economy. And if it gets funds from the IMF, from the US, from the European Investment Bank, from the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, it will get enough money to stave off a bankruptcy, but it needs to fundamentally restructure its economy to become more competitive, and that's going to be very painful for its inhabitants.
Is it more likely to do that with Russia or with Europe?
I think Europe has the funds, Europe has the know-how. Russia is a very weak economy in that it's mostly based on its oil and gas industry, and it has neglected to diversify away from that. It's fallen for the resource curse, and that's fine as long as the energy price is high. But if the energy price is weak, then the economy is going to falter. And I think that is the major weapon that the West has against Russia, a non-military weapon, is to try and see to it that the oil price falls, because that would undermine Putin. And if the Russians suffer because their living standards are going to fall, that's going to create problems for him at home.